You feel like your life is a mess. And not just in one area. Everything feels off. Your routines are broken. Your sleep is a disaster. Your energy is gone. Your relationships are distant. Your productivity has collapsed. And even your environment feels like it's closing in on you. You're overwhelmed, foggy-headed, and stuck. And the worst part? You've convinced yourself that fixing this chaos would take months, maybe years, if it's even possible at all. That belief is the first lie. You think you need a massive transformation, a new body, a new mindset, a new lifestyle, a new everything, all at once. You think you need to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate for an hour, run 5 miles, eat like a monk, read 3 books a week, and suddenly become the most focused and flawless version of yourself. But here's the truth. That mindset is the reason you haven't changed. You don't need a radical rebirth. You need something much smaller, much smarter, and much more powerful. BJ Fogg, a behavioral psychologist from Stanford who spent over 20 years studying habit formation, discovered something that most people never realize. You don't change your life by doing everything. You change your life by doing almost nothing, but doing it strategically. Think about it like this. Your life is a system. Every part is connected. When your sleep is broken, your energy drops. When your energy drops, you procrastinate. When you procrastinate, your self-esteem crashes. When your self-esteem crashes, your relationships suffer. When your relationships suffer, your stress spikes. And when you're stressed, you sleep worse. The cycle continues, downward. But what happens if you just fix one part of the system? What happens if you just improve your sleep? You wake up with more energy. And with more energy, you naturally move more. You eat better, you're clearer. You handle stress better, you feel more capable. One tiny shift creates a cascade. That's the physics of momentum. That's what this video is about. This is not a motivational speech. This is not a 30-day challenge. This is not a productivity hack. This is a 7-day protocol designed to create microscopic strategic shifts in your life, the kind that compound over time and regenerate your system from the inside out. Every day, you will do just one thing, one small change. Something so small, so simple, so frictionless, it feels almost ridiculous. But each of these actions is chosen to hit a critical pressure point, not because it will magically fix everything overnight, but because it will start something that can. This is the week where you stop trying to be perfect. This is the week where you stop trying to fix your entire life in one leap. This is the week where you do less and end up doing more. By the end of these 7 days, your life won't be perfect, but it won't be stuck. And that, my friend, changes everything. Let's begin. If your life feels like it's falling apart, there's a good chance you're starting from the wrong place. Most people, when they finally get fed up with themselves, start trying to force change in the areas that are most visible. They hit the gym, start a productivity planner, try to fix their diet, or throw themselves into a new morning routine. But here's what they miss. None of that sticks when you're running on a broken engine. And the engine of your entire life is sleep. You cannot fix anything, not your mind, not your emotions, not your body, if your sleep is wrecked. It doesn't matter how motivated you are, how many books you read, how hard you try. If your sleep is chaos, your system is chaos. BJ Fogg calls sleep the master variable. Not because it's the most exciting, but because it's the most leveraged. When your sleep quality improves, everything improves with it. Your mood stabilizes, your cravings decrease, your memory sharpens, your self-control strengthens, your energy rises, and most importantly, your brain starts to believe again that change is possible. The problem is, most people try to fix their sleep the wrong way. They go all in. No screens, no caffeine, blackout curtains, melatonin, new mattress, sleep trackers, ASMR, meditation, herbal teas. And then they burn out in 3 days when nothing magically improves. They turn sleep into a project, a source of stress, And that's exactly what destroys the momentum before it starts. That ends today. Today, you're going to implement one single micro-habit, what Fogg calls a sleep anchor. Tonight, set a consistent bedtime, the same time you will go to sleep every night, even on weekends. And then, 10 minutes before that time, perform a shutdown ritual. That means turning off all screens, brushing your teeth, changing into sleep clothes, dimming the lights, or adjusting your room temperature. That's it. You're not trying to sleep 8 hours perfectly. You're not optimizing for deep sleep cycles. You're just sending a signal to your brain. It's time to shut down. And here's the magic. When that signal is consistent, your body starts adapting on its own. Within a few days, your circadian rhythm begins to recalibrate. You fall asleep faster. You wake up with a little more clarity. That small shift, 10 minutes of intention, becomes the foundation for everything that follows. Why does this work? Because it bypasses your need for motivation. It's too small to fail. And once you succeed at it, your brain gets a hit of success. And that feeling, that's how momentum begins. You won't notice a huge difference tomorrow, but you'll notice that you're not as drained, not as foggy, and that tiny gain is enough to move into the next step. Because tomorrow, you're going to use that extra energy to do something powerful. You're going to break physical inertia. And that's when things really start to shift. If this content is making sense to you, click the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. You woke up today with a little more clarity. Maybe not perfect, but something shifted. That fog in your head? Slightly lighter. That heavy feeling in your chest? Not gone, but softer. That's not an accident. It's momentum. And today, we're going to build on it. But not by pushing harder, by moving smarter. Let's talk about your body. When your life feels stuck, one of the first things to shut down is movement. You stop exercising, stop walking, stop stretching, stop feeling like a physical being. Your body becomes a chair, a screen, a container for stress. You tell yourself you're too tired to move, but the truth is you're tired because you're not moving. BJ Fogg teaches us that movement isn't about discipline, it's about momentum. A stagnant body fuels a stagnant mind. A body in motion, even for a few minutes, reignites circuits in the brain that have gone dark. Endorphins, dopamine, blood flow, presence. All of it comes back online the moment you break inertia. And you don't need a workout plan. You don't need the gym. You don't even need to change your clothes. This morning, right after waking up, before you touch your phone, before you think about breakfast, move for just 2 minutes. That's it. 2 minutes of light, intentional movement. Jumping jacks, stretching, walking back and forth, dancing to one song. Whatever feels natural, easy, low resistance. The only rule is, move your body. This does 3 powerful things. First, it tells your nervous system, we are alive, we are active, we are not frozen. That one message alone can dismantle the deep fatigue that's been chaining you to inaction. Second, it interrupts the pattern of passive waking, that slow, distracted crawl into the day that kills all momentum before it starts. And third, it reinforces a belief you desperately need to rebuild. I can start. Even when I don't feel like it, I can begin. And once the body begins, the next domino falls. Food. Most people have a broken relationship with food, not because they lack information, but because they're trying to fix their nutrition with guilt, willpower, or perfection. That doesn't work. You've tried it. You know it doesn't last. So today, your goal is not to eat perfectly. It's not to cut carbs, fast for 16 hours, or track your macros. It's simpler than that. Just for today, eat only real food. No packages, no chemicals, no ultra-processed garbage. Eat like someone who remembers where food comes from. For breakfast, something whole. Eggs, fruit, bread you can pronounce. For lunch, simple protein, vegetables, carbs. For dinner, something home-cooked, even if it's basic. No soda, no candy, no delivery, no guilt. You're not doing this to lose weight. You're doing this to reset your physiology. Because when your body stops being bombarded with fake inputs, it starts to come back to life. Inflammation decreases. Blood sugar stabilizes. Hunger normalizes. Clarity returns. And, most importantly, you feel different. And that's the point. Today isn't about building the perfect body or sticking to a meal plan. It's about reclaiming your physical energy, because without it, every attempt at change becomes a war against yourself. But with it, you start to feel capable again. And when you feel capable, you act capable. So today, you move, you nourish, you don't try to win, you just feed the system what it's been starving for: oxygen, motion, and real fuel. And tomorrow, you're going to take that energy and clean up something even more powerful than your body. You're going to clean up your environment, and the psychological impact will shock you. You've moved your body, you've fed it real fuel, and something has started to awaken. A flicker of energy, a spark of momentum. But there's still something weighing on you. You can feel it the moment you walk into your room, sit at your desk, or glance at that corner of clutter you've been pretending not to see. It's not just a mess. It's a silent war against your nervous system. And whether you realize it or not, it's draining you. Today, we talk about your environment, the overlooked architecture of your mind. BJ Fogg reminds us that behavior doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's shaped, triggered, and reinforced by context. And one of the most powerful and invisible forces shaping your behavior is the space you inhabit every day. A chaotic space keeps your mind on edge. Every item out of place, every stack of paper, every random object becomes a micro-decision your brain has to process. Should I deal with this? Should I move that? I'll get to it later. Multiply that by 100, and your cognitive bandwidth is fried before you've done anything meaningful. This is why your environment matters more than you think. You can have a clear plan, good sleep, even solid energy. But if your space is filled with unresolved tension, you'll feel like you're walking through mental quicksand. But today, you're not going to organize your life. You're not going to declutter your entire home or KonMari your existence. You're going to do one thing, with precision. Pick one surface, just one. Your desk, your nightstand, your kitchen counter, your bathroom sink, and make it completely clear. No half steps, no just tidying. Remove everything, wipe it, leave it empty or intentional. Give your mind the experience of total clarity, even in just one space. It sounds simple, maybe even pointless, but it's not. Because when you clear that surface, you're doing more than cleaning. You're sending a deep signal to your brain: I have control. You're creating a visual anchor of order, a space that doesn't demand energy or negotiation. It just exists. Calm, clean, resolved. That one space becomes sacred. You'll find yourself defending it from clutter, protecting it like a symbol of your internal shift. And slowly, almost without trying, that desire for order will start to spread. You'll want another surface to feel like that, another room, another part of your life. Why does this work so powerfully? Because humans are environmentally reactive creatures. We mirror the chaos or clarity around us. A single space of intentional calm gives your brain something it rarely gets: rest, focus, relief from visual noise. And when you start to feel that, when your eyes no longer scan for problems, your brain has room to process, to plan, to breathe. Today is about external clarity, because external clarity leads to internal expansion, and you're going to need that space inside you, because tomorrow we go deeper, not into your habits or routines, but into your heart. You're going to reconnect with something you've been missing for far too long, real human connection. Let's be honest. When life falls apart, we don't just lose structure and energy, we lose people. Or maybe more accurately, we lose connection. Not because everyone disappears, but because we quietly withdraw. We stop answering, we stop reaching out, we ghost the people who once meant something, and little by little the silence becomes comfortable, and then unbearable. You're not just tired, you're lonely, and you're not alone in that. BJ Fogg's research highlights something most self-improvement advice ignores. Meaningful behavior change isn't sustained by individual grit, it's sustained by relational energy. The people you feel connected to, even in small ways, can be the difference between momentum and relapse, because we aren't built to do this alone. But modern life has normalized disconnection. We replace voice with text, presence with screen time, depth with algorithmic interaction. It's easier, yes, but it's emptier. And when you're trying to rebuild your life from zero, emptiness becomes lethal. That ends today. Today, your only task is this: reconnect with one real human being. Not a text, not a comment, not a meme, a voice. Pick someone you care about, someone you've drifted from, someone you admire, someone who once made your life richer, and leave them a voice message, or call them, just for 5 minutes. That's it. You don't need a reason. You don't need a perfect script. Just say something honest. I was thinking about you. I miss our conversations. I remembered something we did and it made my day better. You'd be surprised what 5 minutes of human truth can do. Why voice? Because voice carries emotional weight. Tone, breath, pauses, inflection. All of it activates emotional centers in the brain that words on a screen can't touch. Voice is human. Voice makes us feel seen again. And what happens when you feel seen? You come back online. Emotionally, psychologically, even physiologically. Studies show that just hearing the voice of someone you care about reduces cortisol, boosts oxytocin, and improves immune response. You don't just feel better. Your biology recalibrates, even if they don't respond, even if the conversation is short. The act of reaching out is what matters, because it's not just about them. It's about you remembering who you are. Someone who is connected, who belongs, who still matters to someone. That one connection can be the lifeline that pulls you out of isolation and into a new kind of momentum, emotional resilience. This isn't about fixing all your relationships. It's about breaking the loop of emotional detachment that keeps you numb and distant. It's about remembering what it feels like to feel again, to engage, to give, to receive. And with that spark, something begins to shift. The fog doesn't vanish, but it lifts. And as it does, a new kind of clarity emerges, the desire to care for yourself, not as punishment, not as a project, but as a form of respect. Because tomorrow, that's exactly what we do. We turn this emotional energy into something deeply physical. Tomorrow, you'll reset your relationship with food. And for the first time in a long time, it won't be about control. It'll be about nourishment. If what you're hearing resonates with you, you'll find real value in my ebooks. Beyond the Shadow breaks down Jung's core ideas, while Dialogues with the Unconscious gives you a 30-day path to apply them in your life. Both are linked in the pinned comment. You've made it to day 5. And let's acknowledge something. Even if it's been subtle, you feel different. Your sleep has improved. You've started moving again. You've created space, both in your surroundings and in your mind. You've reconnected with another human being, even if just for a moment. These aren't random habits. They're a system. And that system is building something powerful, self-trust. And now that your body is waking up, your mind is clearing, and your emotions are stabilizing, it's time to face something you've probably been avoiding for a long time: your relationship with food. Let's be real. Food is emotional. It's not just fuel, it's comfort, distraction, self-soothing, punishment, reward. You eat when you're tired. You eat when you're bored. You eat because the world is overwhelming and something in your mouth gives you the illusion of control, even if just for a second. And the worst part, most of the food you're eating isn't even food. It's a laboratory formula designed to hijack your brain, confuse your hunger signals, and keep you craving things that make you feel worse. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're chemically outmatched. But today, we level the playing field. You're not going on a diet. You're not tracking calories. You're not cutting carbs, fasting, or biohacking your metabolism. You're doing something much simpler and much more powerful. For one single day, eat only real food. What does that mean? Nothing that comes from a factory, nothing with a barcode, nothing with ingredients you can't pronounce. Eat like a human being. Eat like your grandparents. Eat like someone who knows what food looks like before it's packaged. Breakfast, eggs, fruit, whole bread, yogurt, something basic, recognizable. Lunch, protein, vegetables, maybe some rice or potatoes, something you'd find in a kitchen, not a vending machine. Dinner, keep it homemade. Doesn't have to be fancy, just real. Drinks, water, coffee, tea, no soda, no chemical cocktails, no fake sweeteners. Do this not because you're trying to lose weight, but because you're trying to reclaim agency over what enters your body. When you eat real food, something primal reactivates. Your taste buds recalibrate. Your blood sugar levels stop spiking and crashing. Your brain gets steady fuel. Your energy becomes more stable. You stop riding the roller coaster of hyper-palatable addiction. But perhaps most importantly, eating real food feels like self-respect. It tells your system, I'm not abusing you today. I'm not numbing myself. I'm nourishing myself. That shift in posture, from self-abandonment to self-care, is one of the most radical forms of change there is. And no, one day won't fix everything. But one day is enough to remind you that healthy is not just a fantasy, that discipline doesn't have to be punishment, that it is possible to feel good in your own skin, not someday, but today. And here's the best part. When your body feels clean, your brain wants to create. That natural energy you've been chasing with caffeine and guilt. It starts to rise on its own. And tomorrow, we use it. Because you're going to take this clarity and turn it into action. Tomorrow, you'll complete one thing you've been avoiding. One thing that proves to your brain, I finish what I start. There's something quietly corrosive about having dozens of half-finished tasks circling your mind. Open loops, unsent emails, unmade decisions. That conversation you've been avoiding. The form you haven't filled, the drawer you haven't opened. It all stacks up, day after day, until your brain starts to whisper something dangerous. I don't finish things. And that belief, more than your habits, your motivation, or your willpower, is what keeps you stuck. But here's the secret. You don't need to finish everything. You just need to finish something. One thing, clean, closed, done. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. You break the pattern of psychological incompletion. You send a signal to your nervous system that you're not drowning, you're deciding. So today, day 6, that's your mission. Pick one task that's been lingering, just one. Not the hardest, not the biggest, just the one you keep delaying, the one you think about at random times and feel a stab of guilt. Maybe it's a difficult message you need to send, a small repair in your home, a form to fill, a drawer to finally clean. Pick it and complete it. Don't try to multitask. Don't start 10 things. Don't aim for productivity nirvana. Just finish one, from start to finish, done, final. Because finishing one thing generates a disproportionate psychological reward. You feel lighter, clearer. You get a hit of dopamine, but also something deeper, self-efficacy. The sense that you can choose, act, and follow through. That feeling, more than motivation, is what drives sustained momentum. Now, with that task behind you, we move to day 7. The final piece. It's time to clear the mental clutter. Your body is cleaner. Your space is cleaner. You've moved, you've connected, you've nourished. But your mind, still spinning, still filled with noise, inputs, screens, notifications, content, constant stimulation. You can't hear yourself think, and that's the problem. So today, for 2 hours, do something radical. No scroll, no social media, no endless feeds, no doom scrolling, no reaction videos, no TikTok loops. Your phone isn't the enemy, but mindless consumption is. And right now, your mind needs space to breathe. During those 2 hours, be with yourself. Walk without headphones. Write without structure. Stare out the window. Let your thoughts land. Let your nervous system settle. You'll be shocked at what bubbles up when the noise goes silent. Then, once those 2 hours are done, take 15 minutes for a weekly review. Ask yourself, what worked this week? What changed, even if just a little? Which habit felt most impactful? Which one felt natural, like something I could keep doing? What do I want to continue next week? This is not a performance. It's not journaling for likes. It's a private recalibration. You're learning how to steer your system again, how to course correct, how to build with awareness instead of desperation. Because the truth is, you haven't fixed your entire life this week, but you've done something infinitely more powerful. You've started the engine. Your sleep is recalibrating. Your body is in motion. Your environment is cleaner. You've connected to someone. You've eaten with intention. You've completed something real. And now, your mind is starting to feel like a place you can actually live in, not escape from. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new upward spiral. If you repeat this week, or even hold on to just a few of these changes, your life will compound in ways you can't yet imagine. And if nothing else, let this week be proof. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You were just misaligned. And now, slowly, you're coming back into coherence with who you really are. Now, before you go, I want to hear from you. What was the one habit this week that made the biggest difference for you? Drop it in the comments. Let's build a library of momentum together. Your answer might unlock something for someone else who's struggling right now. And whatever you do, don't stop here. The next video is already waiting for you. It's not just another piece of content. It's another step forward, one you can't afford to miss.